Alrighty, we are back at the shop. I have started organizing everything, and here is what we wound up with, not including pen shells and mussels and the horseshoe crabs. Here's the massive pile of cockles, Atlantic cockles, and we got 2 prickly cockles, which are super cool. Half of them came from the islands, the other half came from the beach, and it's actually kind of funny. You can tell which ones came from where. They're clean and shiny, beach. They have grime on them. They're from the island. Go over here, big pile of king's crowns, sea glass, stone crab claw, little Venus clams, some broken pieces of pen shell, a broken lettered olive. This piece was just so pretty I had to grab it. The tail of a horseshoe crab, which I found on the beach as well. Worm shells, lightning whelk egg case, jingle shells, arc shells, some moon snails, barnacles, that really nice big barnacle cluster I found, 2 angel wings, little pieces of wampum from quahogs, that cool crab, the mouth plate, my little micro shells and the rosy wolf snails, the rose petal talons, this cool piece of coral which I honestly haven't identified yet, bubbles, we've got carditas, that nice docinia, and a duck clam with both halves. This guy's cool. Some tulips, lightning whelks, pear whelks, and a huge pile of Calico Scallops. Here, let me get close up on those. There are some beautiful shells in this pile. Absolutely gorgeous Calico Scallops. And that pile may not look like it, but that's about 10 shells deep all the way across. So there's a lot in there. They have quite a bit of cleaning to do. Then we've got all of our quahogs and those 2 really nice knobbed whelks. Then several bags of pen shells. There's another bag somewhere. And this bag is filled with freshwater mussels. So those are going to be super pretty. I got really nice thick ones, so they'll be able to turn into quite a bit of stuff. Alright, so I think to start, I'm going to need to go through and separate the shells into 3 different piles. The stuff that is not going to get cleaned. The second pile will be stuff that's going to be getting just a short, well, relatively short soak in bleach or soap, depending on how bad they are. And then the stuff that needs to go through the acid bath, which would be the pear whelks and the king's crowns. Other than that, I think that's pretty much everything. So I'm gonna get these separated out and start cleaning. Really quick, before I go any further, I wanted to show a before on these ones because they absolutely transform once they get cleaned. These are the tulips, these are the bubbles, and these are broad-ribbed carditas, and they are unrecognizable after they get cleaned, so I'll show you in just 2 seconds. And here they all are now that they've been cleaned. There is just so much color in those tulips. Same with the bubbles. These things are not even recognizable. And the carditas. Ah, it looks so good. Alright, you could probably see the parts that I've done so far, but there's still a lot to do, and I'm realizing how long this is going to take, so let's just... There we go. And yeah, that took quite some time. Those cockles cleaned up so well. They look great. Some of those are really colorful. And of course it's down at the bottom, but there are a couple that are just massive. And then these, I thought these were just very, very dirty Atlantic cockles, but they're actually Florida prickly cockles. And some of them are just really, really pretty. I'll get a close-up on that pen shell in just a minute because it is absolutely gorgeous. That piece of olive cleaned up really well too, and it's super thick, so I'm probably going to use it for something. The king's crowns have transformed. They look so good. Those slippers cleaned up well too, and I cannot believe this one is just so pretty. I've never seen one with color like that. I actually need some help IDing this one. I do not actually know what this is. So if you know what this is, please let me know in the comments, because I am very curious about that one. The angel wings are looking great. A lot of those, yeah, I picked up some broken ones, but a lot of those pear whelks are looking fantastic. The lightning whelks, again, I picked up some pretty beat up weathered ones, but some of them came out really well. Like that one right there is just perfect. And then I couldn't believe how these moon shells changed. The one in the middle was pretty far gone already, very, very weathered, but I couldn't believe how that one turned black and white, and that one was pure white before I cleaned it. I can't believe how much color came back out of that. Obviously the worm shells and lightning whelk, egg case, and horseshoe crabtail didn't get cleaned in any way because there's, you know, not really much point. Same with the jingle shells. I cleaned baby's ears and they look really good. My poor little pile of broken Scotch bonnet. I still want to find a whole one so bad. I'll get a better close-up on this, but I cannot believe it. When I clean this up, all those what I thought were black spots are actually really, really dark purple. This thing is just beautiful and massive. I don't know if it does the size justice, but this thing is probably almost 6 inches across. And then we've got all the arc shells. Really, really pretty. I was going to show you all something in just a sec. The micro shells cleaned up really well. The carditas cleaned up beautifully. The bubbles cleaned up beautifully. And those tulips look absolutely wonderful. I cannot believe how much color came out of these quahogs. They are going to make wonderful wampum. Here, I'll zoom in. That whole pile. So much good purple in there. And I love this one. The texture on this shell is just awesome. And there's this really cool piece of coral. I thought it was just a very, very eaten shell, like, where is it? This one. But it's definitely not. Those aren't eaten through holes on this one, they're actually channels. And I'm not sure what kind of coral this would be, or if it's something else entirely, but it is really cool nonetheless. Here is that pen shell. This thing is absolutely beautiful. And
And you wouldn't believe it looking at it, but I've actually sanded it flat. That is completely smooth. All of that texture is internal. And I'm very happy because it's on the flattest part of the shell, so this piece is going to turn into some beautiful jewelry. There's such a nice color in there. Blue and purple and green. There's actually a lot of red and yellow too, but the camera is not picking it up. Absolutely gorgeous.
And lastly, we have these wonderful Calico Scallops. And I cannot believe the variation on these things. They may look similar, but once you start getting into it, there's not two shells in here that look the same. Some of them are so pretty. I love this one right here. They're very unique. And the orange bands on this one, just awesome. So pretty. I was pretty satisfied going through all of those, because there's some really nice ones. Look how weird that one single white stripe up the center is. I love these things. Oh, and this pure purple one. Just wanted to give a really quick demonstration that I thought was fairly interesting. Excuse the dirty muriatic mixture and water. It's still filthy from all of the king's crowns, and I'll be stabilizing it and dumbing it out in just a little bit. But first I wanted to make a quick little demonstration. So the reason that this works, that you can actually clean shells this way, has everything to do with their chemical makeup. So the way that a mollusk forms its shell is actually through mineral secretion, and the way that it gathers these minerals is generally just from the water, absorbing from the water, or through what it eats. And it will secrete a mineral that hardens and becomes a shell. And the most common mineral that they, most often use is calcium carbonate. Now here is a piece of calcite, and calcite is actually one of the most stable forms of calcium carbonate. Now, because of its chemical makeup, it actually reacts very, very strongly to acids. So again, ignore the filthy water. So if we take this extremely beat up, extremely broken and weathered pear whelk, you'll see when I put it into the acid, it reacts immediately because of the calcium carbonate. But if we take that piece of calcite and put it in, you'll see it reacts the exact same way, which is fairly interesting. Another interesting thing that you'll see if you do acid dips a lot is that freshwater shells don't actually react the same way, and that's because nacre is formed from a different chemical. It's actually a form of aragonite. Aragonite formed into hexagonal crystals, and that's where that brilliant rainbow color comes from. So you'll see if I put this in, it doesn't react half as much as the other two do. There you go. There's an explanation as to why I love shells so much. They're basically just rocks. Also, check out that little blister pearl. And actually, on that same note, you can dissolve calcite in vinegar, so theoretically you could actually do your dips for your shells with vinegar. It would just take way longer. Alrighty, well, I think that is everything cleaned now. The only thing left to do now is clean. Actually, they're really clean. I don't even need to clean. Just preserve these guys, which I can actually show you all how to do in another video if you're interested, and process all of the pen shells. And again, if you're interested, I would be more than happy to show you all how I do that.
Alrighty, that is actually going to do it for the Florida series, so I hope you guys enjoyed all of the shelling and fishing. I also wanted to kind of apologize that I haven't really been doing much in the way of tutorials lately, and the reason for that is winter is in full effect right now. So in other words, I won't be able to go out and do anything until spring. So I was trying to get as much stuff stocked up as I possibly could. So now we have all winter to do a wide range of tutorials. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Links to my Instagram and Facebook will be in the description, and yeah, I'll see y'all next week.